years ago with redistricting, picked up Holderness. And like Jim, I've been going out a lot and canvassing, and I have to agree, this weekend was dog weekend. There were dogs everywhere. I got nipped twice, but they were friendly nips. And we got home, and my husband, who dutifully has been driving me around, said, "I'm not ever going out again. That dog scratched my car." So I don't know if I can count that as a campaign expense. I am the vice chair presently of the Resources, Recreation, and Development Committee. It's kind of a, schizophrenic committee, much as Commerce is. We address a lot of issues. We work with state parks, economic development, natural resources, lakes, rivers, milfoil infestations, wetlands, forestry. So it's very diverse, and there's always something interesting going on. And Jim is also on that committee, as is Sid Lovett until the election. And a great group of people. And one of the wonderful things about the legislature is how much you learn being on committee and how nonpartisan the committees can be, because you're working on issues, not on partisan politics. So if you're dealing with a milfoil issue, all the people who live near lakes are really interested and really want to work hard to do the best thing, whether it means raising boat registration fees or not. And so it's a really great committee. And previously I was on Environment and Agriculture, which was another policy committee where we worked together most of the time with unanimous or almost unanimous votes coming out of committee. Unlike Washington, this last 2 years, unlike the 2010-2011 session, was very bipartisan. I mean, when you have 400 people almost voting unanimously to pass the state budget, the 2-year state budget, it's pretty wild. It was very unusual, and I think it'll go down in history. The budget restored cuts to the university system and to the community colleges, and it worked to improve the state of mental health care in the state. And that was all trying to come back from what had happened during 2010, 2011. There's some issues I definitely want to work on in the next 2 years, and one is health care. I want to continue moving in a positive direction. Prevention is the best medicine. If we provide more people with health care coverage, fewer people will be using the emergency room as their primary care doctor, and the jails will not be overflowing with people who really need mental health and substance abuse care and treatment. Prevention works, and it is far less expensive than the alternative. And I'm very proud that here in Grafton County, the delegation and the commissioners have worked together, and we passed this year we added to the budget. We have drug court and mental health court, and now we have restorative justice all throughout the county. And restorative justice helps youth who are kind of sliding down the slippery slope to bring them back and bring them back into the community so they become positive members when they are adults. And it's really an excellent program, and that is definitely something that passed on a bipartisan measure with the support of both Mike, Martha, and Linda now too, and Ray earlier on. So the Affordable Care Act, there was a slow rollout, and people complained. We only had Anthem. And this is not a state issue, it's a federal issue. But starting November 15th, we're going to have 5 insurance companies competing in the healthcare marketplace. There's going to be 60 different plans. So more people will be able to take advantage of this. And we did pass Medicaid expansion. It took a long time and a lot of pulling and pushing to get there, but we did pass it. And it's estimated by the state that we're going to have 50,000 people sign up in a couple of years. Duh, in 3.5 months, 20,000 people have signed up. So people really, really need and want health care. And the problem is this is a federal program. It's all paid for by the federal government through our tax dollars that we pay in an income tax. New Hampshire, really, we get about 69 cents back for every dollar we pay in. So this is a great opportunity for us. And the threat is that the legislation the plug can be pulled at any time. So it's really important that we keep a majority of people in both the House and Senate that care about health care for our people and don't want to get rid of the so-called Obamacare. Energy issues are really important to me. I've spent a lot of time in the Science, Energy, Technology Committee this last 2 years and sponsored and worked on the legislation that revamped the Site Evaluation Committee and also work to try to bury lines and siting for wind farms. We've got to bury Northern Pass. There's no doubt about it. We must have strict criteria for the siting of wind, Northern Pass, and natural gas pipelines. This year, I've already introduced for this coming session legislation that will establish state-owned energy corridors for improving infrastructure. And if we're going to be a conduit for energy going to other states, it's important that we benefit. If we bury the lines along state-owned rights-of-way, the state will get some income, and the landscape and environment will not be marred by overhead lines and 120-foot towers. But really, the bottom line on energy is efficiency. Our top priority should be making our homes and businesses more energy efficient and implement and support local energy sustainable solutions such as rooftop solar. If you're on Facebook at all, you've seen I posted something from Germany where most of the houses had solar panels and they're all just, their meters are running backwards. For all the money that's spent trying to push the giant industrial projects on the area, every home in northern New Hampshire could be buttoned up with energy efficiency projects so that less energy is needed. There's no silver bullets in solving New England's high energy costs. Building new infrastructure, regardless of what it is going to take years. But if we improve energy efficiency, we can lower our electric costs right now. Education is another big issue. Kindergarten, high school, higher education. Students who graduate from high school should have the opportunity to go to a technical college, community college, university. Many companies in New Hampshire are hiring workers from out of state because we do not have the qualified people to work at those companies. I'll continue working to improve access to public education, and I will fight against any cuts to funding. I support paycheck fairness, equal pay for equal work, minimum wage. Have you looked at who's waiting on you when you go to Walmart or McDonald's? It's not teenagers anymore. It's middle class. Well, they used to be middle class. There's middle-aged people trying to raise their families and support them at minimum wage jobs. It just doesn't cut it. And in 2011, the Republican-run legislature abolished New Hampshire's minimum wage. So now we are just operating with the federally mandated minimum wage. And we're relying on the feds to do the right thing. Finally, all the people of New Hampshire deserve to be treated fairly and with respect, regardless of income, religion, ethnicity, social standing, or sexual preference, and I will work to keep civility in the state government and fight for these issues. So thanks for everything, all the support you've all given me over the years, and I really love this job, and if I come to your door, don't let your dog bite you.